What if I told you that the team you're building right now, the one you're hiring for, training and paying every month could be cut in half by this time next year? Not because of a recession, not because of layoffs, but because a handful of AI tools are quietly doing the work faster, cheaper, and with fewer mistakes than any human team ever could. And the scary part, most people won't see it coming until it's already happened. Today, we're breaking down the 11 AI tools that are already replacing entire departments in 2026. Some of these you've heard of, some will genuinely surprise you, but by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which roles are disappearing and why. Let's get into it. Starting at number 11, and this one flies under the radar. Think about how much of your workday is just moving stuff around, copying data from one place, pasting it into another, cleaning up messy spreadsheets, fixing formatting that somehow always breaks. It sounds boring because it is, and that's exactly why AI is taking it over first. There's a tool built specifically to wipe out that entire layer of work. Instead of writing code or building complicated scrapers, you just describe what you want in plain English. And the system goes and grabs it, turning chaotic web pages into clean, organized data automatically. Here's the part that should make any data entry professional nervous. Automated data capture runs at accuracy rates between 99.95% and 99.99%. Human data entry, closer to 96 to 99%. That gap sounds small until you're working at scale, and suddenly you're looking at hundreds of avoidable errors compounding across thousands of records every single day. Data entry teams don't disappear dramatically. They just quietly stop being necessary. Number 10 is all about the invisible glue holding large organizations together. You know what I'm talking about? Approvals bouncing between reports being compiled by hand, databases synced by someone who probably has 100 other things to do. Entire operations teams exist just to make sure none of that breaks down. Now imagine automating all of it. One platform deep inside the Microsoft ecosystem connects apps, departments, and data sources. So those workflows just run on their own. One healthcare organization used it to process 20 million medical records across more than 200 locations, saving over 100,000 hours of work every year. 100,000 hours. Research from McKinsey backs this up at an industry level. Automating 50 to 75% of operational tasks can cut costs by 20 to 35% while slashing processing time in half. When workflows manage themselves, big operations teams become lean ones almost automatically. Moving to number 9, and this one changes the creative industry in a way a lot of people still aren't ready for. Voice work used to be one of the most expensive, time-consuming parts of any production. Studio bookings, voice actor coordination, retakes, and then doing it all over again for every new language or market. It was slow and it was costly. Now, tools exist that can generate natural sounding voices in multiple languages almost instantly. The AI voice market is projected to grow from around $4 billion in 2025 to over $20 billion by 2031, more than 30% annual growth. That's not hype. That's real operational demand from media companies, game studios, education platforms, and global brands who need fast, consistent audio output without the logistical nightmare. When narration, dubbing, and localization can be handled on demand by software, large voice and localization teams quietly get much smaller. Number 8 hits the video world just as hard. Post-production used to take weeks. Editors, assistants, VFX specialists, all working through a long pipeline of cuts, corrections, and approvals. There are now AI systems that compress most of that into a single tool. Generate video from text, remove objects from scenes, create visual effects, automate edits. And this isn't experimental. Major studios have publicly used these tools for productions, including Oscar-winning films. The top-ranked AI video model right now sits at number 1 on the global video generation leaderboard. The shift isn't about removing creative direction. It's about reducing all the technical labor that surrounds it. Fewer people needed behind the scenes means leaner teams by default. Now, number 7 might surprise you because hiring feels so human. And on the surface, it is. But underneath all those conversations and handshakes, most of the hiring process is just logistics. Screening resumes, scheduling interviews, sending reminders, answering the same candidate questions on repeat. One major fast food chain publicly reported using an AI hiring tool to cut their time to hire from 12 days down to 4, a 75% reduction. In industries where every open shift costs money, that speed is everything. The recruitment chatbot market is expected to more than double by 2030, growing at over 21% per year. When all the coordination disappears, large recruiting teams naturally shrink down to the people who actually make decisions. Number 6 is customer support, and honestly, this one's been in motion for a while. Most support tickets aren't complex. They're repetitive. Same questions, same resets, same billing issues, cycling through every day. AI is now handling that entire first layer without a human agent in sight. In fact, industry-wide projections show AI involved in 95% of customer interactions in the near future, with modern systems already capable of resolving around 80% of routine inquiries at accuracy rates between 90 and 96%. Support leaders themselves expect AI to reduce costs significantly over the next 5 years. And more than half have already seen customer satisfaction go up, not down. The support team doesn't disappear, but it gets a whole lot smaller. Number 5, design. Not long ago, making a decent graphic meant knowing the software. Having the time and either being creative yourself or hiring someone who was, that barrier is basically gone now. One platform alone reported 260 million monthly users by 2025, 3.5 billion in annual revenue, and adoption by 95% of Fortune 500 companies. When non-designers can generate polished presentations, social graphics, and branded assets in minutes, the demand for junior design roles drops fast. High-end creative direction. Still very much a human job, but the production layer beneath it, that's already being automated away. Number 4 takes us into concept art and ideation, the phase that shapes everything else: marketing campaigns, product design, films, games. It all starts with a visual direction. That process used to take weeks of sketches, mood boards, and review cycles. Now it takes minutes. One AI image tool controls roughly 27% of the entire market and has fundamentally changed how fast teams can explore ideas. Instead of waiting on a concept artist for 2 weeks, you can generate dozens of visual directions in an afternoon. The creative phase doesn't get less important, it gets faster. And when it gets faster, it needs fewer people. Number 3, software development. Here's something most people don't realize. Developers don't spend most of their time writing code. They spend it thinking about code, debugging, switching between tools, and trying to hold context across a dozen different tasks at once. There's now an AI coding tool that lives directly inside the development environment and handles generation, refactoring, debugging, and explanations in real time. Developers using it report saving 20 to 25% of their time on everyday tasks. On complex projects, development cycles run 30 to 50% shorter with 40% fewer context switches. That last number matters more than people think. Context switching is where productivity silently dies. When one developer can do more without constantly bouncing around, the case for large junior-heavy engineering teams gets harder to make. Number 2 is sales, specifically the repetitive front end of it. Prospecting, cold outreach, follow-ups, booking meetings, qualifying leads. This is where most of a sales development rep's day goes. And it's also exactly what AI can do autonomously. Companies using AI sales agents have reported 30% more meetings per rep, 80% higher conversion from meetings to qualified pipeline, and 50% lower costs per lead. One platform reportedly generates over $100 million in revenue with inbound calls answered in under 20 seconds. When prospecting and follow-ups run on their own, outbound sales teams stop scaling output, or better, with a fraction of the people. And finally, number 1. This one's a little different because it's not replacing a creative role. It's replacing the analytical work that surrounds it. Think about what it actually takes to grow a content channel at scale. You're not just filming and editing. You're studying what works, what doesn't, why certain formats explode while others flop, and what your competitors are doing differently. At scale, that becomes a full-time job, or several, jumping between platforms, spreadsheets, notes, screenshots, trying to reverse engineer patterns from memory. The tool at number 1 automates that entire layer. It doesn't analyze single videos. It breaks down entire channels, looking for patterns across titles, hooks, pacing, tone, topic framing, and performance over time. It tracks competitors continuously, so you catch format shifts and structural changes as they happen. Not weeks later, YouTube has over 2.5 billion monthly active users operating across more than 100 countries. No individual or small team can realistically keep up with the volume of content being published every single day. When pattern recognition and competitive tracking are automated, research stops being a bottleneck and starts being infrastructure, that's the real shift, and it's already happening. So there you have it. 11 tools, 11 categories of work that are being fundamentally restructured right now. The question isn't whether AI is going to change how teams are built. It already is. The question is whether you're going to get ahead of it or get caught off guard. If this gave you something to think about, drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know which of these surprised you most. And if you found this useful, hit that subscribe button and check out the next recommended video. We're just getting started.